Hello and welcome to This Week in Frax. Got the boys back.
TGIF.
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
We back. We back.
We're so
my
back.
Goodness.
So, give us the lowdown.
I just want to say look how solar punk this building is right here. It kind of reminds me of being in Singapore last week, where it was just like solar punk city. You're about to ask like, what was Singapore like? There's lots of excitement there, and it's funny. I just came back from Pragma in the little one-day conference they had here in New York, and like everybody I talked to that I went to permissionless said permissionless was dead. Like it was empty. Like there was pissed off sponsors. It's like all this shit because like everybody was in fucking Singapore. Everybody flew out to Token 2049. Like I can't begin to tell you like how many people I met like that were from New York. Like everybody is taking the East very seriously, and I don't know if it's just and I feel like it's because of how receptive they are to crypto and like and how I think you described it as practical they are out there. It isn't just some like out there like, oh, in theory, like look at the world that could be. It's like, no, like what is the world actually is like right now, and like how can we build it in what's in front of us.
Agreed. And to add on to that, Sam, it had just a different energy to it. Like people were definitely trying to figure it out. Yes, we are in a bear market, but the folks that I spoke to, especially I targeted basically all the stablecoin issuers. If you were a stablecoin issuer, I wanted to have a conversation with you. And these are, true legacy for like financial folks, but also fintech companies. And the meme of these guys are coming is no longer a meme. They literally have smart contracts deployed onto Ethereum already. But one particular trend I noticed, but they also deployed onto Ripple and Stellar Lumens.
Yeah.
That was a huge eye opener for me. I was like, what? and they were like almost proud about it too. Like, yeah, we're on Stellar. I was like, who's on Stellar?
Institutions.
Yeah. I mean, there's like most of the T-bills on chain are actually on Stellar.
Yeah.
Like 400 million there.
Yeah, I met like a good amount of Frax bulls. Bobby Ong is probably one of the biggest Frax bulls I know. He specifically came to our event just to like chop it up with me and like a few other Frax people. He was like, "Yeah, I don't even like going out, but like I need to get like the Frax lowdown." And so Bobby Ong has been a friend for like super. He's been a friend of Frax since it launched. Like he's been a fan since. I remember when we first interviewed him, Kit, and he was like, "Oh, I thought like they go down to like 65 or 60% the collateral ratio. What a different time."
Yeah.
But just I met like Frax bulls from all over the world. Like it's different the kind of excitement that Asia has about Frax because they're like excited about it not just for like the technology, but they're like excited for its economic application. They're like, wow, like these people like put in the work. So
yeah, agreed. And to contrast that with KBW, I had to educate a lot of people about what Frax is because they never even heard of it. So it was interesting. It's like, same Asian country, right? Same countries in Asia. Or rather, both countries are in Asia, but one is definitely much more known.
Well, I would say that Korea is just like much more of an.
Oh, we lost you, Dave.
Oh, Dave just cut. Oh, okay, he's there. You're back.
Sorry about that. I got spammed. But one thing I was going to say is how in Asia it's like the market's internal. So like Koreans sell to Koreans. It reminded me when I was in Brazil, and the market's quite internal as well. Brazil sells to Brazilians, and the challenge to like Korean companies is like how do you export if you want to. But like they don't. It's just like, oh, why would I? Like I have a market here in Korea, especially for gaming. Brazil has like had the same problem, but like if you're thinking like Web3, which is global and borderless, you have to like think in this context. So, which in itself is very like westernized, actually. That's just the way it is.
True.
That's good to hear. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about Singapore before we move on?
Yo, it's so humid there. It's so fucking humid. I personally like I didn't really love Singapore. I mean, it's a great like city for like I think families. It's like very safe. But it's just like it's very sterile. There's like no edge to it. Like if you're like, looking for some action, don't go to Singapore. It's like, I don't know. It's like I can see like Dubai is like the desert version of it. I personally prefer like when I went to Dubai last year, I personally prefer Dubai. I feel like I just like the desert, just like weather. I just would rather have like hot heat in the desert than like humid. I just
Did you go in
hate
the summer, or
humidity.
did you go in the
I went in
winter
like
time?
November. I went when. Do you remember when? Right when FTX crashed. That's when I was
Yeah,
there. That was a fun
yeah.
time.
That's a nice time. That's a beautiful time to go there.
Just
Yeah,
seeing the
I think
advertisements.
I went there around the same time too. It was quite nice. Wasn't hot at all,
Yeah,
or rather, it wasn't super duper hot. But
yeah. It's
for
still
me,
hot. Yeah. Go ahead.
last thoughts on Singapore is that I I could almost scarily see how Singapore could possibly be that other crypto hub that is, sapping brain drain and attention away from the US.
Oh yeah, they just make it so easy for business. It's just
Yeah,
like
they do.
they just make it eat, and that's all you need to be. You just gotta like make life easy, and people will come. Um, So, yeah, and like all I keep hearing here, like the topics that are talked about in the U.S. are like regulation, 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 and everybody's scared shitless. It's like you can have this talk like the same talk over and over again, but nobody's sentiment's going to change until actual action is taking place. Whether that's like at a legislative level or judicial level, we're kind of in this just like kind of period of purgatory and stagnation. Like crypto is going to move forward with or without the U.S. So it's whether we're going to hop on it or
Yeah.
not.
And it's clear sign Singapore is moving way ahead. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Last
many
thoughts.
issuers, stablecoin issuers. But yeah, we're done. Done. Let's move on to the show.
Okay, let's talk about the big news, which actually didn't happen inside of the Frax Telegram or the Frax forums, and that is that Frax has posted a STIP, I guess is what it's called, but an Arbitrum grant proposal where they are requesting 1.5 million ARB to be distributed through different liquidity pools or other incentives based on Frax products over the next 6 months. Huge.
Ooh.
Huge.
Ooh.
So
I like that.
they think that it potentially could attract upwards of more than $60 million worth of Frax locked in DeFi on Arbitrum, and then also bring a lot of ETH to Arbitrum as well too. So we will post this in the newsletter that goes out. You can find it on Flywheel DeFi, but it's actually very, very well researched. It has all the information about the different strategies and the execution and the timeline, and it looks like it's gotten some pretty good support. So Frax is looking for 2 tranches where 900,000 ARB to be dispersed immediately, and then a second funding tranche of 600,000 ARB to be dispersed when the different milestones are hit. With the first milestone being more than $10 million worth of Frax bridged to Arbitrum in a 30-day period, which would actually double TVL. So Arbitrum is the largest non-ETH network for Frax, and I believe they have about 10 or $11 million worth of TVL. So this potentially could take our TVL on Arbitrum from 10 million past 60 million. And then at that point, hopefully we get a bunch more integrations on Arbitrum, and it just goes from there. Very exciting.
Like Arbitrum, has established itself as a DeFi chain, and there's a lot of action there. It's become quite windy. So I since last year I've been trying to get set more and more Frax on Arbitrum. And so it's like nice to see this initiative happen. It's this is the way you get Frax dispersed throughout DeFi with like these initiatives. So I hope the ARB community opens up with open arms.
Yeah. But so you can find that in the newsletter. We also had a bunch of governance proposals that came past this week. We had the sticker proposal, which
No, it didn't pass.
Dave had pushed forward. Unfortunately, did not pass.
Yeah.
F in the chat.
Yeah. In the chat.
Yeah.
But,
It's okay. I'll say this. It would be such a shame because I talked to my friend who's building it, and he's going to keep continuing on building it with his like own resources, and he told me that he's like would probably be looking for an OP grant now to like launch it on OP. And it would be such a shame. It would be such a shame if this launches on Frax. If this doesn't, hold on.
If it doesn't launch on Frax, yeah.
If it doesn't launch on Fraxchain, it'd be such a shame because this is like built for Fraxchain. This could be like the fun social app of Fraxchain. Um, and so, like, I'm gonna like try again in the future. I want to get funding for this, and I want this to launch on Fraxchain.
Yeah. Fraxchain coming in December. I believe the team is doing some internal testing on the testnet right now.
Yeah, dev testnet.
Yeah, dev testnet, and full launch towards the end of Q4. So right around the corner. Let's see. We also had a frxETH pool in Gamma Swap. Actually, hold on. Before we go there, Sam talked about having lunch with Rune this week.
Yeah, I was talking to Sam about that. He was like, "Yeah, Rune's such a baller." I mean, they had equal admiration for each other.
That's great. Did he talk about how it came about?
He didn't talk about how it came about, but he told me that Rune is a fan of Frax and Flywheel.
Oh, that's great. Hey, Rune.
Yeah.
If
that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Rune. Rune, if you're watching this, we love Maker. I'm in Sakura now. wait. I'm in Sakura. Oh, you guys want to hear something funny just now? I'm just sharing So I just saw I was at Pragma and I saw like Joe Lubin talk and I went up to him to say hi. And he was like, "Oh, DeFi Day." He saw my name tag and he was like, "Hey, is that how is that shirt? I like it." I was like, "Yeah, I think so." Like, we had like a brief moment, but you know, the Joe Lubin talk was interesting. He talked about how there's centralized crypto and like tech crypto. There's money crypto which is like use cases and like the things that are facing consumers that like should be regulated, and then there's like the technology, the software, the free speech that shouldn't be regulated and that should be like let that evolve on its own. But like that was like the biggest takeaway from like the Joe Lubin Pragma thing. Sorry, that was off topic. Let's continue.
So that it's cool that we're actually seeing some stuff with Rune now that we have the sFRAX contract coming, and also FXBs.
Yeah,
we're going to be on that level. So
soon, TM. Guys, my battery's like awfully low, so I'm gonna have to like hop off here. But continue on without me. Just wanted to be here, and I'm here in spirit. So I'll see you guys. Ciao.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
See ya.
Okay, so we have some other governance stuff that happened. We had a Gamma Swap is asking to get a Frax pool with a Frax FXX gauge controller. That should pass pretty easily, I guess. Additionally, Revest is asking for what is this, to be whitelisted to be able to have a VEFPIS liquid wrapper, which is kind of interesting.
Finally, some more innovation around FPIS. I like.
Yeah.
I like. But there's also some. Oh, are we done with governance yet?
No, we're still rolling through governance.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. No, but we can talk about that. I mean, like with the so that's actually up for vote right now. The integrate revest FPIS liquid wrapper. It's funny, like we have our FPIs for Frax Improvement Protocol, or FIPs. For FPI, it's like FPIIP. It's like FPIP.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay.
And we've only had 11. This is only the 11th FPIP.
That's what I'm saying. We're early.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to make a comment about base and FPI and what Sam said in the chat. I feel like FPI out of all our products is probably the easiest thing for a normie to just hold. I just don't have to put it anywhere else. Literally just hold it,
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the. We'll see if anything comes of that from that Coinbase partnership. I think that everybody's talking about RWAs right now because the yields are at 5%, but I don't think it's always going to be the case. I mean, we could be sitting next year with yields at like 2 again, right? So it's at that point it may be worthwhile to have money in FPI, which is at 3%. But we'll see. Our next governance thing, we have FIP 287, which is Frax Accumulated Finance invite into private round. So Accumulated Finance is a liquid staking and on-chain liquidity platform for hidden and future gems, they say. And so they have different like staking pools, and they have some vote escrow tokens that they have, stable swap. So they're using frxETH in its trading pools to help increase its staking APR. And they are launched. They have V1 out V2 out, and they're looking to grow a bit more. They have this VE locking system coming for their token soon, as well as bribe markets. And they have offered to Frax to invest $100,000 in return to receive 10 million AFCI or ACFI tokens, which is a 1% stake in the protocol.
So what is that? 100,000 for 1%?
Yeah, for 1% at a $10 million valuation.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you like? These deals have actually been pretty decent that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen several of these go through. I actually think they're pretty good. I think Frax, for the size of the check that Frax is writing, $100,000 for an established protocol that could return quite a lot of value and be a long-term partner in the Frax ecosystem does make sense.
Yeah, I'm torn because we're on the march to 100% cloud ratio.
Yes.
And the way I think about it is 100K is about either a month's worth of Frax land revenue or a month's worth of, or a half month worth of Frax ETH revenue, or 2 weeks worth of Convex rewards or curve rewards. So I don't know. I'm hesitant to cut checks right now just because our cloud ratio is it's not even at 95 anymore. It dropped to 92.
Yeah.
So
So notable investors in accumulated finance so far are Michael Yegorov from Curve, C2TP, Staked Out, and De facto Capital. If that leans any credence to the investment, I think it's fine. Like if Michael and C2 are on it, then how much more do we need, really?
I mean, should we use capital or should we use, say, our VLCVX voting power to kind of help, or should we offer to do like bribes on their gauges instead of paying out that amount? Is there other assets we could use to help them?
Well, this probably should have been talked about before because the vote is already up. It's live on Snapshot.
Oh no, I mean, it's just my thoughts. It's just my thoughts. I usually don't delve much into this, but yeah.
But it's up for vote right now. I'm guessing, if C2 voted for it or like invested in it, then it might be getting a yes. But I'll have to go check the Convex forums to see how it's being voted on over there.
All right, moving on.
I think that's pretty much it from governments. Let me just take a look at, from a product standpoint, there wasn't a ton of stuff that came out. Travis did come out with some screenshots of the Frax Gov module that's coming. Cool. It looks like it's almost ready to start full implementation soon, at least with the UI that's up. The UI looks pretty good. And Frax is looking for a front-end UI React guru again. That coming from Travis. So if you are a React dev and you want to be a part of the Frax team, part of the Seal Team Frax, shoot that application over.
Yes, sir. There's also the product news around V3 going into audit, right?
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And then Sam just casually drops that within 24 hours, concluding audit. Sheesh. You know?
Yeah, so I think we'll wrap it up there for this week. There's a lot more that you can find inside of the actual newsletter. Please come to flywheeldefi.com. Sign up for the mailing list so you can get This Week in Frax sent to you every single week. And thank you, Dave, for being here.
Hold on, Sam. One last bit I want to also share is FinRes PBC going into production.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. $1 million had been sent to FinRes.
Yeah. So it's going to go into production. That's
cool.
also on the horizon.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Things are, like I talked to a non-Frax affiliated VC earlier today, and he even told me, he was like, like just looking at the chart and looking to see all the stuff that Frax is doing, like it could be one of the most undervalued trades in the entire crypto space right now.
It really be like that. And in Singapore, that was the similar trend. We have, staunch supporters on one side, and then the other side is just unknown sellers. I don't know where they constantly find these coins to sell on us, but yes, that's pretty much the split.
All right, well, let's wrap it up there, and we will see you next week for This Week in Frax.
Peace.
Peace.